everybody, I'm Dan, and welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show. On this episode of the Rock Nerd Radio Show, we're going to take a look at the entirety of the new Marvel Legends X-Men Ch'ad Build-A-Figure wave. A little late on this one. I'm not the first person to look at this wave. I'm probably not going to be the last either. But check out this video, and let's get to it.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
So I think the first one we're going to open up is Cyclops, one that we have multiple versions of, but why not just open him up now and see what is inside. It looks like from the packaging he's going to have some extra hands. So let's take all this out. Here's Cyclops out of the package, and he does come with one open hand and one kind of the optic blast hand. So those are his extra accessories. Otherwise, he's got fists. And, he looks like you would expect Cyclops to. I like the gold highlights on the costume here, the line work there. It does look pretty cool. The wristbands are not they're not a solid piece. They sit over his wrist, so there's some movement to them. But overall, he looks pretty cool. I have the original Astonishing Cyclops that I ended up selling, and then ended up getting that version back, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I spent it a little bit, and it looks like I might not have had to do that because this version ended up being pretty cool. I did see online that someone from the Legends team said that you could carefully kind of pull this piece out so you didn't have like the smoking optic blast, and I might try that later. I don't want to do it on camera because I don't want to necessarily mess him up. So let's see who's next. Sticking with the Astonishing X-Men theme, I guess we might as well open up Emma Frost, right? So, again, if we look at the back of the package, it does say that she comes with a Build-A-Figure piece or Ch'ad, whatever we're going to say, and she does have 2 extra fists. Cyclops did not have a Build-A-Figure piece. So let's get her open. Before I talk about this Emma, and I do have a lot to say about this Emma Frost, I just want to mention that the Build-A-Figure piece she comes with is the leg for Ch'ad, and her extra hands were packaged in the same bag as the Build-A-Figure piece, which led to me promptly dropping them on the floor and having to search for them. That was fun, so buyer beware. But there's a lot to talk about with this Emma. First off, she has heeled feet, and I'm normally not a fan of the heeled feet because they don't stand well, but she is standing pretty well on my table, and it's just flat, so this is good to see. The one thing that's driving me up a wall, I have to address it, the cape. The cape totally restricts the arm movement. You can't move her arms. I know it is how the costume looked in the comics. This is one of the times where I feel like soft goods really would have been the way to go. I've seen people online already modding this. I don't know if I'm going to mod it myself, but it is an option. I do have to say, though, the head sculpt, dead on to what that art looked like in Astonishing X-Men. If I can focus here a little better on it. Really, it just looks fantastic. So I'm fine with the likeness of the character, and honestly, I'll probably just have her standing on a shelf like this. It would have been nice if the arms could move around more. It would have been nice to have some more dynamic posing, but it's a sacrifice I can live with for now, I think. Let's see, I'll probably take out whoever has the body of Ch'ad next so I can start building that Build-A-Figure. And the next figure would be Kid Omega, and this is how he looks in the Krakoan Age, House of X, Powers of 10 era of X-Men. When he's on X-Force, really digging the look of this figure already. From the back of the package, we can see he has extra hands. He's got his psychic weapon here, and he does have the body of Ch'ad. And I know you might be saying, isn't it Chode? I used to say Chode. A friend of mine pointed out that it should be Ch'ad. I'll probably say both during the course of this review. But let's get Kid Omega open here. Before we go any further, I love how much of this box is the Build-A-Figure body with the figure back here. It reminds me of the Age of Apocalypse Jean Grey and Sugar Man, where it was like Jean Grey stuck to the side of the package and most of the Sugar Man like in the center of the package. Snap on the Build-A-Figure piece, just like that. Of course, he needs 2 legs to stand, so he's just gonna lay over there for now. Man, Kid Omega looks really nice. Just gotta say, 3 bags in his box. 1 bag with the figure, the other with his accessories, his extra hands, and psychic shotgun there, and the other being with the Build-A-Figure body there. But this, I believe, is on that Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man body, and I didn't buy that Spider-Man, so this is my first exposure to this body, and it is nice. It moves around very nicely. It looks very good. Of course, with his paintwork, it's like doing it like that, you kind of break up the design of his costume. But this looks really nice. Yeah, I didn't pick up that Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man, which everybody was very quick to point out. I don't want to say everybody, but a couple people were quick to point out when I did my top 10 Marvel Legends of last year, because people were very surprised he wasn't in my countdown. But I didn't pick him up, so that's why he wasn't in my countdown. Kind of makes me wonder if I should try to go back and track one down, because this is a very, very nice body. I do want to see how he looks with an extra hand. So if I swap out the hand real quick, and I like that it moves up and down, not side to side. That's pretty cool. But you can put his blaster in his hand. Bit of a tight fit. He also doesn't have trigger fingers, so he's just kind of holding this blaster like a bat, I guess. I don't even know what to call it. Trigger fingers would have been real nice. That's a bit of a bummer, but still looks pretty cool. He will look very good on my Hoxpox shelf. I am so glad that we're finally getting into Generation X, because that is a team that I've been wanting to build for quite some time. Got the first one here. There are 2 members of Generation X in this wave, but the first one here being Monet, and I just call her M because that was her code name. So let's open her up. I do want to say, back of the package, again, 2 different hand options and the other leg for our Build-A-Figure. All right, putting on the next leg for our Build-A-Figure. And no, M is not a giant cat. My cat just decided to jump up on my table while I'm doing this. And he's just gonna hang out here for a minute, right next to the Build-A-Figure. Ain't that right, bud? Let's get to Monet here. All right, so M honestly looks pretty good. I know a lot of people were kind of complaining about her face online, but in hand, it really does look better, and I've heard that from quite a number of people. But this costume, man, this female buck, whatever you want to call it, it looks awesome. This really looks good. Looks great for the Generation X female style body. The shoulder pads don't inhibit the arm movement. It lets it move right around it, which is nice. She does have another fisted hand and another open hand, but I'm fine with what she has on her now. Love these boots. Everything is pinless. Everything is double jointed. This is a fantastic looking figure. Was not expecting to be as impressed by this one as I currently am. But let's get to Chamber, the second member of Generation X. And here is the Boxer Chamber, and not a whole lot going on, as you can see. He also has some alternate hands. Comes with another arm of our Build-A-Figure. So let's get this one open. All right, here's Chamber out of the package, and man, I didn't want to believe it. I heard some scuttlebutt about this online, but Chamber is using the old suit-style body legs, and these feet, they don't seem to sit very well. So I've been hearing that people are having trouble having like Chamber stand up without him looking a little wonky, and yeah, I am having some trouble getting him to stand. I may just have to put him on like a stand so he will stand. I will say the body seems like a new body. This looks very nice. I don't know if the arms are new, because they are pinless arms, and the jacket looks great. The head looks fantastic. It's just these legs. I don't know why they would go all out for everything else on his body and then give us these legs that just don't work very well anymore. I also feel like Chamber had a red and yellow costume, kind of like M and the rest of Generation X. So like I do remember Chamber in a costume like this too, but I feel like that was after Generation X. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a while since the 90s, but I can't get him to stand right now. He does have 2 fists, hooray fists, and yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. We got 2 more. Let's open those up. Okay, next we're gonna go with Fang, who is one of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard members. He has alternate fists, but I feel like you want the like the claw hands out for him. He's got the head and Chori, whatever, for Chod, whatever. As I mentioned, Fang does have 2 alternate fists, but I like him having his claws out, so I'm going to keep him in this kind of configuration. And this is a pinless body. This looks fantastic. Some of his, I don't know, bone details, whatever these are, it could have been done a little better, I think. These are all loose pieces, so they've been moving around on me already. I kind of had to jam them into place. But this looks great. I gotta say, for a character who, eventually just gets killed by Wolverine and Wolverine steals his costume, they put a lot of love into this figure. I was honestly a little surprised that we didn't get like an alternate Wolverine head and Wolverine claw hands with him. In which case, if that was the case, I would have ended up buying 2 probably. But looking at it, he is a little bigger than your standard Wolverine, so it would have looked very out of scale. But this looks pretty cool. I'm digging Fang here. And last but not least, we have Corsair, leader of the Starjammers. Appropriate that the Build-A-Figure is also a Starjammer. Looking at the back, he has the arm here. He comes with a sword, a blaster, 2 fists, but I'm going to have him holding stuff, so I probably won't deal with the fists. But let's open him since he's the last one to open. Before I get into Corsair, it should be said that our Build-A-Figure, Chad, is now complete. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. A couple of issues like non-painted toenails and fingernails. I could always put a little bit of yellow paint on there. But he does have an articulated jaw, which I like. He does have extra fingers. He should only have 4 fingers. But not terrible for repaint of Abomination. It kind of kills me because I've had a spare Abomination in my fodder bin for years that I've planned on turning into a Chode here. And now I don't have to. They beat me to the punch. But let's look at Corsair. I gotta say, Corsair looks fantastic. Just, on the Vulcan body, everything's pinless. Colors look fantastic. Love the symbol in the middle of his chest here. Head looks great to me. Yeah, man, I'm really liking this. Trigger finger here, which is good, and then just a holding hand. So if I want to put his gun in his hand and have him hold the gun there, I can. The wrist does... How does it swivel? It does swivel up and down. There we go. So you can kind of have the pointing at it there. And then, of course, the other hand, he can get his sword going. So you can end up having something like this. He looks great. I didn't realize both hands have trigger fingers, so that works out well. But he does have a sheath right here if you wanted to stick the sword in there and just have him have a fist or something. Man, this really looks great. We got 2 of the main Starjammers out of the way. Give me a Raza and Hepzibah, please, Hasbro. I'm begging you. Let's finish off the Starjammers real quick. But now that everybody is opened, I think it's time for me to rank the wave. All 8 of these figures, including the Build-A-Figure, from my least favorite to my most favorite. All right, now that I've looked at the entire wave, it is time to rank them from the number 8 spot to the number 1 spot. So number 8 is going to be Chamber. Not that I don't like the figure or the character, but those legs, they're killing me here. I feel like these legs are really out of date. They don't look good anymore, and it makes him a little hard to stand. I'm surprised he's able to stand right now, because prior to this, he wasn't standing on anything. So Chamber goes to the 8th spot. The 7th spot, it pains me a little bit to say it, but it's going to be Emma. I like Emma Frost. The likeness on this costume, or for how she looks in the comics, is just, it is dead on, but it's just a lot of restrictions in the arm movement there. She's not going to be able to move around a whole lot, and that is something that kind of bothers me. Again, I just kind of put my characters on the shelf. I don't really pose them all too crazy, but that is a bit of a disappointment. Let's see, that would bring us to number 6, which is going to be Cyclops. And it's just really, at this point, how many Cyclops figures do we need? I like the costume. I'm glad they're hitting this era, but it's just kind of a plain figure for me. The next figure, I guess, would be our Build-A-Figure. He's, there's enough wrong with him where I'm a little annoyed at some of the color choices, some of the, molding choices, like, the wrong number of fingers kind of bugs me. It is a reuse of a very old Build-A-Figure at this point. I like the look of it. I'm glad we're getting the Starjammers, and I'm not saying anything here is bad, but he's middle of the road for me. All right, that moves us to the number 4 spot, which would be Fang. I like him, and I'm just shocked that this kind of a nothing character got this much love in a figure, completely pinless, looks great, lots of detail. That just kind of shocks me. The number 3 spot I'm giving to Kid Omega. First off, again, this is the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man body. looks great. I want a new Bucky on this body. I want World War II era sidekick Bucky on this body. It's good for like a teen Buck. So this looks really good. I will give him the 3 spot there. Number 2 and 1. Ooh, these are getting harder and harder now because the last 2 figures in this wave are really good. So I think I'm going to say that the number 2 one goes to M. I really like this figure. I really like the mold. I like the way the figure looks. Looking forward to getting more Generation X figures, especially the women from that era on this book. I think that'll look really good. I think it'll make for a nice looking unified team. Which leads us to number 1, and it is Corsair. I'm just going to put him right here in the middle. Probably my favorite figure in the wave. Just looking really, really good. And I really like how he came out. I think his accessories look great. Looks good on the Vulcan body, and just a really, really nice figure. So there we go. That is my quick thoughts on this wave if I were to rank it. What do you think? What are your favorite figures in the wave? What are your not so favorite figures in the wave? Let me know in the comments below. And until then, I've been Dan. You've all been pretty awesome. I'll see you next time.
Come get